Wanted to make a video. Been a while since I made a video, and I wanted to give an explanation and talk about starting over. As you can see, there's a little bit of, there's not a car, there's not a Harley, there's not a Corvette, there's nothing really going on right now in this video, which is typically what I like to talk about. Men stuff, life, improving general human connections and well-being, and for all people. But today I'm talking about me and starting over. Went through some changes in the last year that required me to make a big decision in life, and putting myself first along with joy and happiness, and it required some big decisions in life to make. And I think sometimes, even though I didn't make that decision hastily, we're talking about divorce. Talking about divorce here. It was something that needed to happen. And it's unfortunate. And it takes place in life. And the statistics are more or less 50-50, I believe. And it definitely happens. Not something that I support or encourage, but I think when it comes time, it comes time. So after doing everything you can do to prevent such an outcome, and doing everything that is reasonable between a couple to decide on and to change and to try to fix and to try to overcome, sometimes it is what it is, and people need to go their separate ways. So I'm here to tell you that when these type of things occur, that even though we don't want them to, and we do the best we can for them not to happen, sometimes it's for the best. So now I'm sitting here in my backyard, smoking a cigar, having a beer, looking out at a nice view, a nice private home, spending some time with my bird, spending some time looking around, spending some time with myself meditating, enjoying a cigar, thinking about life, pondering the future, thinking about other opportunities, thinking about other good, positive things that have come out of this. And there's many. Got myself, got my wealth, got my health, got my things. Life is good. It's a sad truth. It's unfortunate that things had to change. But sometimes that's just what needs to happen. Now, what are my lessons in that? Let me try to give you just a few. Let me try to give you 3 lessons. Lesson number 1, relationships are vital for longevity and for marital success in terms of connection. If you lose the connection with someone, it's over. And that loss of connection can linger around for years. Without the connection, you don't have a marriage. It's not earth-shattering news there. But the connection is a deeply profound experience that if you've had it before, you know what it is. If you've never had it before, you got to figure out what that means. The connection. Really being connected to your partner and recognizing them, recognizing yourself if you don't have that. If you don't have that connection, why not? If the partner doesn't have the connection with you, why not? What is the problem? Why don't you have the connection that's required in a relationship, especially if it's of a major significance like a marriage? Without connection, you don't have a marriage. Okay, now whatever avenue creates the connection, whether it be faith, religion, family, spirituality, hobbies, time, communication, all these things add up to connection. So that's one major lesson right there. Because even when you think you have it, you may not have it. And it begins to deteriorate without a lot of time and love put into it. All right, lesson number 2 is values. People need to have comparable, compatible values. Values with money, values with time, values with family, values for spirituality, values for the relationship. What is most important in your life? Running around with friends, running around with peers, work, trying to make more money, trying to survive, being stressed all the time about this or that, other family, other interferences, other things that take you away from your primary love. So, values, are the values consistent? Are the values fractured? Are the values have the values changed? Have your values changed over time? Men, for example, they often initially in their young adulthood value money and wealth and job success, career success, educational success, power, you know, this perception of that they've made it, materials. But over time, what a man really wants is peace. A man wants peace and happiness. And if that's not there, something is really, really off. So changing values is something else to consider. Lesson number 2. Lesson 3 is the person has to be the right person for you. And is there more than one person who's right for you? Is it one person forever? Is it inevitable that can change? Are you flexible enough to see that when it takes place? People get hurt over time, but does it have to happen that way? Maybe love shifts and makes changes, and your life partner does change over time. That doesn't always have to take place, but if that's how it works, if that's what happens, that's what happens. Are you flexible enough to make a change in the event that you have to? Now, in my case, nothing seriously happened to break my marriage. There was no major catastrophe. There was no major reason other than what I'm talking to you about. The main reasons I'm talking to you about: a poor connection, changing values, and overcoming fear that you have to make a decision to change that. If nothing else is going to work, you have to make a change. The good part about that is that the change could be beautiful, and change could make you will be better off if you make the right conscious choice for yourself. Make your choice. Make your choices, think it through, feel the experience, get advice, get therapies, whatever you need to do to come to the conclusion that perhaps a relationship needs to change. But enduring in a relationship for years and years and decades on, who does that really do well for? Who does that serve? How is that good for anybody? How is that good for the kids? How is that good for your family? How is that good for your stability? These are all things to consider when it comes to making those final choices. So the 3 lessons are there. Pretty simple, straightforward. Either there's a connection or there's not a connection. Either the values are consistent and shared and growing, or they alter significantly over time. And are you changing according to that, or are you accepting values that are no longer relevant? The value shift is immense as you get a little older and as you experience life. What was once important isn't as important later on. So think about that. And finally, when it comes time to make a decision, if a decision has to be made by the man or the woman or whoever's involved, who's going to make that decision? Both partners? One or the other? The one with more resources? The one that's more desperate? The one that's more bold? Who has to make the choice? Who makes the decision? How do you find the resources or the money to get divorced? It's not an inexpensive thing. It's a significant life-altering experience. And it involves finances and legalities and relationships and custody at times and various things. So all of these things are heavy on the mind and heavy-hearted at times. So seek advice, seek counsel, and make comments below here if any of this registers with you or sparks any conversation. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.